All right, guys. Todd McShay, who we have referenced quite a bit on the show, was doing his post-combine podcast yesterday, and he said the guy that has moved up draft boards the most since the combine, to no one's surprise, is Ty Simpson, the quarterback. That's what always happens to quarterbacks. Now, he's going to mention Cleveland in this clip. We're not talking about him coming to Cleveland in general. We're going to do a big picture topic on Ty Simpson, but this is what Todd McShay, on his Todd McShay podcast, joined by Kay Adams, had to say about what he's hearing in regards to Ty Simpson following the combine.
I'm a big Ty Simpson fan, despite the 6-1, the injuries, and the 15 starts. But I'm already starting to hear people like, could he go as high as Cleveland?
Really?
Sitting there at 6. And I hope for Ty Simpson he does not become a Cleveland Brown. They don't have the protection. They don't have the weapons. I'd love to see him with the Rams. They pick at 13 to the first of their 2 picks. But it's fascinating to see a guy who has gastritis, got beat up all year long. His number 1 wide receiver disappeared in Ryan Williams. They had like the 126th best rushing attack at Alabama, which like Bear Bryant's rolling over in his grave. And it all fell apart at the end of the year. But I think he's different. And I think that there's some teams out there that are just trying to be really quiet about it because everyone's talking about Mendoza and then the rest of the quarterbacks suck. It's just not the deal. And Ty Simpson's going to go somewhere in the first, and it won't shock me if it's in the top 15.
So he mentioned as high as 6 to the Browns, didn't necessarily tie them to Cleveland. So I wanted to ask this question, big picture. When you guys watch the tape, and I know all 3 of you guys have studied the quarterbacks in this draft with a particular eye looking to see if there's anything there, do you guys see a franchise quarterback in Ty Simpson? Does he have the physical traits, the mental makeup, all the attributes you need to be a franchise quarterback on the next level from what you've seen, G? Because it was a year of a tale of 2 halves exactly for Simpson. Great first half, down in the second half. But do you see a future NFL franchise quarterback?
Without throwing no salt in the game, let's just be like, all right, if I'm sitting here watching this, I ain't even a Browns fan. I don't know none of this stuff. I'm just watching the games. So in the first part of the year, Ty Simpson was cooking. Sean King talks about how he, at one point in time, he was doing exactly what he needed to do, and he would have been a first-round pick. Actually, people was talking about him more. Him and my tier was over Mendoza. Mendoza just kind of outlasted a lot of people. He just kept being Mendoza, and guys kept falling back, including Dante Moore. He played so bad in the game. He's like, yeah, I gotta come on back. With Ty Simpson, the problem with me is he sat for a long time. He waited his turn. He only has the 15 starts. Then you take a look at his skill set, right? 6'1". You're like, kind of in that tweener.
Yeah, he teetered.
He tweener, and then you're like, okay, is he super athletic? Yeah, not really. He has a good enough arm. I think he throws well with anticipation. Is it a gigantic arm? No, not really. Even when I watched him come out of the game against Indiana, I go and watch the guy who came in behind him.
Lit it up.
And I said, who's this Thundercat? Who's this? Who's Lionel right here? He's like,
6'5".
Thunder.
Yeah.
I'm like,
rocket on the first
I'm
play.
like, okay. I'm like, Then I was like, he kind of, tailed off, and then he was like, I'm coming out. Now, I was like, he kind of came out on the downside. I think he reminds me a lot of guys like, he reminds me of Christian Ponder, or he reminds me of somebody like, what's the kid they drafted for the Jets?
Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson, where if you squint hard enough and you look at, I can see if he'd be successful, but in terms of when I just go into the draft looking at what he did and be like, Ty Simpson is my franchise guy, I don't see it. I think he can be a good quarterback. I think if you look at it, he's lower than Bo Nix to me. I like Bo Nix better than I like him. And a lot of people is 50-50 on Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. So will somebody overdraft him? Yes, it's going to happen. There's only one quarterback at the top. Somebody going to take a flyer on him, Zach. What are your thoughts in terms of what you believe him to be? Is he more first half or more second half of the year?
Yeah, I think there's something there for sure. I think the first half showed that. It went tough. I think he got down to 190 pounds after the injury and the sickness. Jeez. And he's out there playing against really good competition with no running game every week. He's the son of a coach. There's nothing super special about him physically. More of a point guard than a franchise QB to me. right? So when I hear 6, I say no, especially because we're talking about Monken and mobility in the next build in this. But then you hear top 15, like that's totally different. And that's about the range, because the Rams are in that range with the Atlanta's pick. They need a guy. And then you're into the Jets and the Steelers and the Browns the second time. You're not into the top 10. Right? Things like that. So I think top 10 is crazy talk. I just stood next to this guy on Friday at his interview at the podium. He is impressive. He comes off like the son of a coach, like a guy who was meant to be a quarterback at Alabama and understands everything that comes with it. Do I think in any draft room they're saying this is the guy that gets us to the playoffs 6 times in 8 years? No. So in the quarterback supply-demand world that we live in, Ty Simpson is going to be a first-round pick, and top 15 would not stun me. But do I think he's even a consideration at number 6 for this Cleveland Browns team? Absolutely not.
Really quick for you go, Tyrus, what does his size look like when you saw him? Was it
6'1" and 210? Like, he looks big enough, but not in any way do you say
he's
wow.
not an Anthony Richardson physical specimen.
Big enough, okay.
Well, today is Hot Take Tuesday down in Columbus, and my hot take was I think he's going to have a better career than Fernando Mendoza will, due to the fact that I believe that the situation that he's going to land in, I do think the Rams will probably take him. I think that's the perfect place for him. I think that Ty Simpson was one of those guys where I got into an argument down in Columbus because I said he was a front runner over Julian Sang, and everybody was so mad at me when he was cooking.
Yeah, he was cooking.
And I think due to the fact that when you watch the tape, what I like about him is we hear so much about quarterbacks going through progression, running an NFL-style offense, going through progression. He does a phenomenal job of doing that. He goes 1, 2, 3 to 4 and still make the throw. And I just think that is what you're going to need to excel in the NFL level. Also, another thing that I like about him outside of Mendoza is he makes NFL throws. What do I mean by that? Well, people always talk about arm talent. And arm talent to me is not chuck the ball 80 yards down the field. That's not arm talent to me. That's just having a strong arm. Arm talent is threading this ball right over that linebacker, but right before that safety, putting it in that window across the middle of the field. He's got tape of him actually doing that. Fernando Mendoza's stuff has all been RPOs, back shoulders, hitches, slants, things like that. So I think that he will actually do better in the league than Fernando would. So could he be a franchise guy? To me, that depends on the situation he lands. If he lands in with the Rams and he sits a year behind Matt Stafford, learns, and Sean McVay teaches him the game, and then he takes off from there, and he's got Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, the tight Big B, and Puka, and all those guys. I think that's a perfect situation for him to be able to flourish in. But if you're telling me you're sending him to Cleveland, no, I don't think that he would be a franchise guy right away.
I think, man, so you mentioned a couple of things. Like, we talked about Mendoza, and we watched Mendoza. You are correct. The thing that scares me a little bit with Mendoza is they run so many doggone RPOs at Indiana. It's just like, and he's just a master at it. Like, anything you pick is wrong because he hands the ball off every single time when he needs to hand it off. He hits the RPO guy anytime that is supposed to. You leave him open, he's throwing that right now, and it's on time and it's in rhythm. And then if it's third down, he's a master at throwing back shoulder fades. Like, it's just like he has mastered those 3 things. My thing is, are you going to build your offense around that, and can he do other things? The only thing I think he has that is better between Mendoza and Ty Simpson is, and it's kind of like the Shedeur Sanders thing. Like, they believe it. Like, when Mendoza come on the field, them dudes in the locker room believe it. Indiana, like, they don't got crazy receivers, crazy linemen, they are very solid across the board. But the thing that really jumps off the stage for Mendoza is he got them intangibles where it's just like a gangster rapper who, like, like, Tupac was so great because he really believed it. You like, man, Tupac did shoot that bus up. And he also said, "Dear Mama," and Brenda had a baby. You're like, man, this dude is conscious as heck. It was believable. Like, it wasn't the fact that he was the greatest rapper of all time, but it was like, when he said it, he believed it. And when Mendoza get on the field, for those 15, 20 minutes when they count during them plays, everybody on the field believe he going to make them plays.
So, Tyvus, you made a compelling case for Simpson that matches what he did in those first 8 games, 20 touchdowns and 1 interception. But then you said not 6. So is that a Browns thing?
Yeah.
Or you think he's more a top 12 prospect?
I think that the surrounding cast matters. I think Ty McShay was right with what he said. Like, going to the Browns is so much with protection and weapons. Like, I don't think he would flourish right now. I don't think it's going to be hard for anybody. Now, I have to see the rest of the plan. Obviously, we got to see free agency playing out and what other weapons they're able to get. That can change the whole situation. If you're telling me the Browns' offensive line is better and you're telling me that they got a weapon somehow, some way, then I would say, that's fine to take it back.
But at 6 and 24, you're not picking for September 26.
No.
You're picking for 27, 28. I mean, the guys need to play, especially if they're offensive linemen.
Yes. But I do think he's one of the quarterbacks that would thrive if he sit a year. I don't want to rush him in there.
That's fair.
I feel like for a guy, we just had the whole conversation about the 20 start thing. How many people out of them 20 starts got rushed in to play right away?
Almost all of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we don't have really an experiment on if that guy sat for a year. Like, the best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes, did not play his first year.
Right.
And everybody forgets that. They think he came in and just was this guy right away. He sat the entire first year and came and took over and took off the next year after that. Why more people can't live by that model? I think they want to. Obviously, circumstances and injuries play a big factor into why these guys get rushed in there. But I think with Matt Stafford on the way out the door and Matt Stafford coming off of an MVP season, like, you can be able to learn a lot from him before he says, I'm out.
What's the saying? Organizations fail these young players more than young players fail these organizations. I agree with that. But there's a lot of factors that go into it. I mean, Anthony Richardson was the screaming example. Do not put him out there right away. Right? Like, let him learn and then let the offense not just build around it, but let him and the offense evolve to one another. Instead, September, rookie year, you're out there.
I think
Bryce Young is like that now, and they was going back and forth with that. He started, he struggled. They put Andy Dalton in, then brought him back. He looked better. They brought Andy Dalton back in. Next time Bryce got in there, boom, they go into the playoffs. Got a chance to beat the Rams in the playoffs. The ball was placed a little bit higher, he would have had a better chance. But going toe-to-toe with the league MVP that year in a playoff game, like, it just shows you that you keep rushing these guys out there and they're not ready to play. But the problem is the league is so much on instant gratification. I need to see it now. We drafted you this high, we need it now. And a lot of these quarterbacks just not there.
What you're going to be interested to see as we put a bow on it is you're going to have a situation where you got Ty Simpson. There's more than one way to build a roster. You can trade, you can free agent, you can draft. There's going to be some people that have Ty Simpson, draft, or Anthony Richardson, flyer, or Malik Willis, signed to a long-term contract. And depending on where they see these guys' skill sets, there's 3 different paths that certain teams could take to fill the quarterback room. It's just it would be interesting to see which one of those paths they like the most.
Right. Like, you can make all those arguments, right? Or the Steelers going back to Aaron Rodgers and then drafting Ty Simpson.
Right.
Right. Or the Steelers trying to get Malik Willis or Kyler Murray.
Right.
You know, we don't know.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting. I'm sure we'll be finding out the rest because it's going to be crazy.
I can't wait to see the first domino that falls.
Free agency starts when?
It won't be long.
March 11th.
Monday.
Technically, Monday's the tampering period.
If Anthony Richardson gets traded, it will be anywhere between Thursday and Saturday, and he's going to get traded. So it's here. Yesterday was a little earlier than the Browns have done it in the past, but almost every year they've been ahead of this.
And